Here are some of the Lincoln pennies sold at the Central States US Coin Signature Auction. We have definitely seen a trend in the last number of years where seemingly common coins have crept up in value, where a coin like this 1993 Lincoln cent, which has a mintage of literally in the billions, can sell for thousands of dollars. The key is condition. As a coin graded by PCGS as MS69 red, it is placed as tied for the finest known and becomes a coveted registry set coin. Sometimes a few grade points can mean the difference between pocket change and, in this case, $3,120 closing price at auction. With a mintage of merely 866,000 coins, the 1931 S cent is one of the definitive keys for the series. However, since the mintage was so low due to the Great Depression, very few coins were needed for circulation. Many rolls and brand new coins were saved by those who could afford to do so at the time. In consequence, today the coin is far less scarce in mint state grades than other coins with much more substantive mintage figures. This coin was graded by PCGS as MS66 red, and at auction it was sold for $4,080. The 1912 matte-proof Lincoln penny is the third rarest issue in the short-lived matte-proof series, with a mintage of 2,372 coins. Though, interestingly, the coiner did reject 538 specimens, presumably for insufficient quality. Those coins are then presumed to have been melted down for recoining. An overall attractive example of the type is seen here, though with some toning and slight tarnishing on the surface, but not sufficiently so to disqualify it for the red designation from PCGS. With a grade of Proof 65 red, it sold for $6,000 at auction. The 1926 S penny from the San Francisco Mint is yet another key, or some might argue semi-key date for the series, with a mintage of just 4,550,000 coins. Furthermore, it is today one of the rarest coins in the series to find in a gem grade with full red color. This coin is a prime example of just that at a technical grade of MS65, which is accompanied by a red and brown designation. However, at auction, the coin was able to secure a final price of $6,300. Despite reports of later controversy concerning the VDB initials on the reverse of the coin, the Lincoln cent launched to much fanfare and general excitement in 1909. There were actual lines of people waiting outside the mint, excited to get their hands on the new coin for themselves, like you would see with an iPhone or something these days. All the same, production was halted to remove the initials very early on, and the San Francisco Mint was hit hardest of all. Only 484,000 1909 SVDB pennies were actually minted before the order came down. This brilliant example, graded as MS65 plus red from PCGS, was one of those, and at auction it was sold for $7,920. The 1914 penny from the San Francisco Mint is a solid semi-key issue for the series, and a sought-after branchment rarity from the early issues for the series. The Mint was experiencing some problems with the planchet stock that the coins were minted from, though this coin manages to elude the more serious symptoms of this particular quirk of the issue. Looking closer, you can notice that the surface of the coin is unnaturally uneven. Housed in an old-school green PCGS slab with a grade of MS65 red, this coin was sold at auction for $10,200. It almost seems like no list like this would be complete without a mention of the infamous 1922 no-D wheat cent, especially the strong reverse type, to be more specific, dimarriage number 2, where a fresh new reverse was paired with a badly abraded obverse where the D mint mark was polished away completely. You can even see that the second 2 of 1922 had to be recut, as it was probably almost removed in the same process as well. I guess the mint mark didn't quite warrant the same level of care and attention. This stunning coin is graded as MS63 plus brown by PCGS, and at auction it secured a final price of $16,800. In the mid-1950s, the collecting world was set ablaze by news that a boldly doubled 1955 cent was able to be found in circulation. Early reports from 1955 indicate that some dealers were even paying up to $50 for any example of the coin that came into their shop. Amazingly, though, no major hoard of the coin, no full rolls or bags were ever uncovered, only single examples, one after another. Today, the 1955 double-die reverse cent is the most famous variety coin in American numismatics. The coin was graded by PCGS as MS64 red, and when it crossed the auction block, it was sold for $16,800. Minting of the new Lincoln penny had barely gotten underway in 1909 when controversy struck. Victor D. Brenner, the artist who designed the then still new coin, whose initials were featured on the reverse of the coin, seemingly too prominently for some people to handle, the decision was then taken to remove it rather than redesign the entire coin. This, too, affected the matte-proof coins, and only an estimated 1,194 coins were minted, though the distribution might have even been lower than that still, with estimates ranging between 400 and 600 coins. This piece was graded as proof 65 brown by PCGS and at auction was sold for $19,201. With a low mintage of merely 1,193,000 coins, the 1914 D Lincoln cent has always been recognized as a rare coin within the Lincoln series. As early as the 1930s, it was placed on par or listed as even more valuable than the 1909 S VDB coin. Today, it is recognized as a conditional rarity, with mint state coins routinely selling for thousands of dollars. This example, graded by PCGS as MS66 red-brown, is a prime example of just that, as it was sold at auction for $23,400. Seemingly everyone is familiar with the 1943 copper pennies that were minted by accident during a year when the US Mint was supposed to strike all coins from steel planchets. But this is the somewhat lesser celebrated 1944 steel penny. Again, struck by mistake from leftover steel planchets from the previous year, when the mint was supposed to only issue cent coins in the normal copper. So, in a phrase, this coin was never supposed to exist. This rare transitional error was graded by PCGS as MS64, trying for the finest certified at that service, and at auction's end, it had sold for $108,000. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another Lincoln Cent variety video here. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.